Bill Hickerson here from the Illinois Office of Advanced Capital. And what I wanted to talk to you about today is how to access your retirement assets, and in particular, if you're not yet 59 and a half. So, 59 and a half is kind of that magic age where the IRS allows you to take distributions from your IRA accounts or your retirement accounts and just pay ordinary income tax, federal income tax on those distributions. You may or may not pay state income tax. That really depends on the state that you live in. But you can take as much as you want, as little as you want. You can change your distributions as much as you want, and you're just paying income tax on what you take out. Now, if you're not yet 59 and a half, there's typically a 10% penalty on any early distributions from your IRA or retirement accounts. The IRS also then has some guidelines that does allow you to take distributions prior to 59 and a half, but they give you some rules that you need to follow. It's called substantially equal periodic payments, or Rule 72T. You may have heard it called that as well. And essentially, there's a calculation that you have to run through based on your age and a federal midterm interest rate at the time you start your distributions, which will then come up with a maximum percentage that you're allowed to take out of your IRA accounts. So, for example, if you ran through that calculation and it came up to a 4% interest rate, and you had, say, $500,000 in your IRA, you would be allowed to take $20,000 a year out of your IRA for the longer of 5 years or until you're 59 and a half. So if you're, for example, 53 years old and you set up these distributions, you'd be locked into that $20,000 distribution for 6.5 years. And these rules apply to each IRA account that you have. So the younger you are, the more it may make sense to set up multiple IRA accounts, because you could start these sub-equal withdrawals, say at age 50, and then have another IRA that you don't start distributions on, and maybe start those, a few years later. Then it will have its own 5 years or 59 and a half rule associated with it. So it allows you to give yourself some raises along the way if need be, because you may be locked into those distributions for quite some time. So another rule the IRS has is called the Rule of 55. And this would pertain to those folks that retire or separate service from their company in the year they turn 55 or older. So in that instance, what the IRS allows you to do is take distributions directly from what they call a qualified retirement plan, which would be your 401k. They don't lock you into a 5-year income stream, and there's no maximum or minimum amount that you have to take. You pay income tax on whatever those distributions are. So if you're, say, 58 years old and you're looking to retire, you'd want to leave your 401k at your prior company and start distributions for a year and a half until you get to 59 and a half, and then roll over the remaining balance into an IRA, because then you have all the flexibility in the world. But it avoids you from having to set up those substantial equal periodic payments at say, age 58, and then you'd be locked in until you're age 62. So drawing directly from a qualified plan is a great way to kind of get you to 59 and a half if you're pretty close. But again, you have to be turning 55 or older in the year that you separate service from your company. So, a few stipulations there. So again, there's ways to get around having to pay that 10% penalty. What I suggest that you do if you fall into these categories is to give us a call. We can talk through your circumstances, and everybody's got a little bit different situation going on, and we can give you the best advice on, again, how to access that money with the least amount of tax and penalties. Thanks.